You're listening to WKUF LP Flint
Talk to
94.3
us.
FM.
What the heck?
This is the Major Boondoggle Report. Brought to you by Sunrise Coast Cigar Lounge. And brought to you by STS E-Waste Recycling, 810-496-3881. I'm Major Boondoggle.
I'm Dr. Jeff,
And I'm the JD Goon.
and here we are once again at the table.
So what was your new topic that you brought, Doc?
Well, you guys have been curious about my experiences in Israel, and
That's because you had talked about how many people you killed over there.
Murderer.
I didn't. You asked me some
No, you
questions.
said that before. You said that before.
Never.
During the lie detector in the last break, you said that you
Two.
had killed 2 people.
That's right, too. And you ate them.
No, this was at this.
you ate their bodies.
This was at
You
this
ate them in
table.
Israel.
No,
That's right. Remember that one we did about...
I ate their liver with a nice Chianti and some fava beans.
So let's talk about that. You were in Israel
I was in Israel.
from...
I've been to Israel.
You were a freedom fighter, a rebel, or a guerrilla?
I'm a scholar. I'm not even a lover. Or,
No.
or a
Let's
fighter.
not play games. Answer the question.
That was not a clear question.
What would you have been considered at the time?
I was a volunteer with the IDF.
What would the United States military have considered you if they raided your compound?
Israel and the United States have never been at war.
That's not what he... That's not a question.
It doesn't matter if they're in war or not. If they if SEAL Team 4 raided your
And they didn't know who I was?
Right.
And they didn't know who I was.
You would be considered
an Israeli.
Okay. What is IDF?
The Israeli Defense Forces.
Okay.
Did you guys meet on Saturday mornings?
Sometimes.
All right.
All right, now, wait a minute. So how long were you over there?
I was there 5 times between 1983 and 1993.
Okay.
And I worked with the IDF as a civilian volunteer anywhere from 2 weeks to a month at a time. And then I would tour the country or do some schooling.
So what is it that you actually did? What did you personally
The first
do?
time I was there,
Cleaned weapons.
no, I don't think I ever touched a weapon.
Oh, well, this story got a whole lot
Well,
less
that's
sexy.
not entirely true.
Boring.
Well, you guys were curious, Salsa. I wrenched on tanks.
Okay.
My first visit.
What kind of tank?
Yeah.
Mirkava.
A what?
Mirkava.
Bless you.
Thank you.
What is that in English?
In English, it means chariot.
Okay, so whose
They pulled by
surplus
horses.
was it?
Go ahead. His question first.
What was your question?
Israel doesn't have a tank factory. Whose surplus was it?
They were General Motors
Hellcats?
engines. I have no idea.
They were probably Hellcats.
Huge diesels that
They were-
said made in Detroit.
What size?
Yeah.
What size engines were they? Well, no. You don't measure that. First of all, we're on the radio.
Huge.
Second, you can't measure that with your arms.
I never worked on the engines. I worked on the interior. I worked on the tread. I pushed a broom.
You blinged them out. You put some leather inside.
Spinners.
Spinners.
Base system.
Nobody has ever done that. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe they did in that one rap video.
Here comes this tank.
So you were a maintenance person.
Yes.
Were you a psychologist at this time or that time?
No, I was an undergraduate, and I actually the first time I was over there, part of my experience there was writing a paper for an independent study in anthropology at the University of Michigan.
All right. I know. I wanted to do the same thing, but I wasn't going to be rude. But I'm glad you did it, so I wasn't rude.
We can move on.
No, we're not done. We're not done with you.
Well,
So how much time are you a U.S. citizen?
yes,
Does the U.S. government know you're here?
yes,
Do you have dual citizenship?
no.
Where were you born? Here or there?
Here,
How did you hook up with the Iraqi people that you worked with? Oh, it was Israeli. I know that. I'm playing with you.
I know.
How did you hook up with them?
There was an article in the newspaper that my brother passed along to me that said that there had been a new organization created.
Guerrillas needed. Apply in Israel. 1
That sounds guerrilla-ish.
577.
I like gorillas.
Okay, but go back to the news article. That's interesting.
Oh, the news article said that there was a group had formed in New York called the Volunteers for Israel, and they still exist. And what they were doing is they were looking for individuals to go and relieve reservists in Israel because they had just gone into the Shalom HaGalil war, the Lebanon War, the first Lebanon War.
So this was from, you said 83 to 93?
I was there 5 times during that 10-year period.
And if you added that 5 times up, I mean, it was
Altogether, 6 months.
okay.
Well, you were like the weekender, weekend warrior,
If I were to apply
weekend
for
gorilla.
yeah, whatever. If I were to apply for dual citizenship, it would only be to show solidarity.
Now, who paid for you to get there?
I paid part of it, and at the time, the volunteers and the Israeli government paid part of it. And they clothed me and they fed me for 30 days.
Were you uniformed?
Yes.
Do you still have contacts over there?
No.
He's a liar.
Yeah, that was a real
I can
quick
probably
no.
remember some Air Force major. He's probably a general by now.
Did you have a rank?
His home number. No, volunteer.
What was the uniform?
Green khakis.
All right. Stylish.
Comfortable.
I think in a war or fashion sense, you should try to conflict. You should not wear the same kind of clothing. You definitely shouldn't be camouflaged because nobody will see who's to shoot at.
That was a joke aside. That
in
wasn't to the
your
level
honor,
of joke aside. That wasn't completely to the level of joke
It's
aside.
joke
He didn't
support.
get
It was joke life support. Joke needed life support.
He was trying to aid.
Can you get CPR to that joke?
How come you quit going over there?
Let me think.
The FBI stopped at your door one day.
Come in. Put the warrant under the door. Hang on a minute. I'm naked.
Now, why did you go there in the first place? I know the article was given to you, but what was going through your head when you said, yeah, I'm going to join this extremist terrorist organization?
Originally, I wanted to study PTSD among Israeli soldiers because for the first time ever in the history of Israel, they had a peace movement, and there were conscientious objectors who were not going to war. And I had this equation in my mind that conflict in the conscience of the country was going to cause problems with the soldiers who did fight.
What was the U.S. attitude towards,
It never came up.
well, with you, but I mean with Israel at the time?
The attitude between Israel and the United States has been good since 1948. America's been a huge supporter of Israel. Now, it is very uncommon without dual citizenship or at any time, and it used to say so in the United States passport. You can't dress in the uniform of a foreign country or swear allegiance to it, and I never swore allegiance to Israel, although I did dress in a uniform.
You boy.
What?
It was not a military uniform, so.
It was.
Oh, it was.
Indeed. It identified me as Zahal, Zavah Haganah Israel.
What is that?
Israeli Defense Forces.
Okay. All right.
So now that we've aired this,
the
the
Department-
FBI are headed to your place.
Yeah, that's fine. Come on over, guys. I'll make coffee.
Did you just do the channel?
I got the same thing.
I didn't.
That's worse. That's better.
That works.
That was the FBI. I already.
What was the most interesting thing that happened while you were there? The most memorable moment? Interesting thing.
It's a crap house rat story.
Okay. Sounds good.
I was on base, and I was out in the middle of the night, leaving my roommates alone to have a cigarette. Middle of the night, and I'm standing there by the rail on the outside of this dormitory type barrack, and I hear some scurrying underneath the toilet down the row.
Oh, it's a literal story.
Oh yeah,
Literal crap house.
an actual story, an actual crap house story. All right, so the crap house rat is under the crap house, doing what rats do.
With a CIA microphone attached to his back.
No doubt. And there's a cat slowly stalking up the lawn up to the gravel underneath the barrack.
And grab you in the balls.
Okay, it gets better.
Gets better than that.
Oh, yeah.
It gnawed your junk off.
So now the rat's silent. The cat is silent. Along comes an owl, a huge owl, like the torso of a big man-sized owl, and lands on the line directly across from me.
Man-sized owl. They have enormous owls. They have man-sized owls. Go ahead.
I've only seen them on Adult Swim.
Jesus, I hope the story ends soon.
So I'm just watching this. I think, okay, this is the feeding chain. There's the rat, the cat, the owl.
Okay. And then you.
I'm sitting there gently, quietly, smoking my smoke. That scares them all off.
Yeah.
Along comes another owl and lands on the line next to the first owl. The rat scurries away, gone. The cat scurries away, gone. I'm looking up at these owls and I think to myself, I'm food.
They're turd burglars.
It was time for me to go back inside. I put out my butt and I went back inside.
You put out your butt.
My butt.
What do you mean you put it out?
Cigarette
for
butt.
who?
Yeah, I would thought you put your butt back in your pants.
Oh, your cigarette.
I was.
That's your most memorable story.
It made me rather nervous.
You were on the other side of the world doing stuff,
And I didn't want owls to eat me.
Oh my God!
Those owls were so
I want my
big.
money back. I want my money back for that.
You paid
story.
for the show and you
That
didn't
is
like
the
it.
worst.
Story side.
That's the best story you have.
You think?
Deepest sympathies to our listener currently in
Yeah,
your
I
car.
apologize.
Please do not drive into that guardrail you're thinking
I am
of.
so sorry that
The bridge coming up on
We really
475 is
thought-
not your objective.
We really thought that you had something interesting to say about your time over there.
Like
And your
the
best
owl
story-
had a phosphorus round or a flash bang.
I mean, anything.
something
anything.
something exciting.
like it was a,
Well, yeah, what did you think we were talking about?
Afghan.
That was the most scared I ever was while I was over there.
Oh my God!
It wasn't an Afghan owl with like a flash bang trying to scare you out.
I think it was a drone, actually. 2 drones.
Drones.
Wow.
Were they
We-
neutered owls?
We will never get that 10 minutes of our life.
No, I don't think they had allegiance to anybody. So maybe they
11
were
minutes. We'll never get that 11 minutes.
11 minutes is gone.
neutered. We'll never get it back.
Have you gone back since?
Yes. I was there 3 years ago for my niece's bat mitzvah. We had a beautiful ceremony on top of Masada.
You wore your yarmulke?
Yep. I was probably wearing a ball cap. No, I was wearing a yarmulke for the ceremony. The rest of the time I was wearing a ball cap. It's curious because you wear a ball cap almost everywhere because that's the custom.
And it keeps the satellite from seeing your face.
Excepting when you go into a, yeah, what time is it?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Joke aside?
A puff of a cigar. Brought to you by Sunrise Coast Cigar Lounge, located on Miller Road in the Valley Plaza. Oh, man. This story was also brought to you by STS E-Waste Recyclers. Doc can tell you all about it. 810-496-3881. Have Doc recycle your e-waste right away. And stories.
A proud sponsor of a proud sponsor.
Did you end up studying PTSD there?
No. In fact, when I went to the...
He got PTSD there, though. That's the most important.
When I went to the pro tem chair of the anthropology department and said, this is what I would like to do, he said, no. This is your first field study. You need to make it much more general.
You were getting credit for this?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, come
Somebody
on.
beat the doctor.
Oh, this wasn't even out of principle. This was just for some school credit. Go ahead, Doc. I'm sorry.
Well, part of it was solidarity in the principle, and part of it was curiosity.
So do you say the
Important.
do you say the Pledge of Allegiance today?
Again?
Do you say the Pledge of Allegiance today?
Do I? Or
No.
did I?
Well, I mean, did you say it over there? When they were all doing whatever to their Israeli flag, were you going, I pledge allegiance to the United States of America?
No. If I thought about it, I might have. At one post, actually the Israeli equivalent of Annapolis, which was a very curious place, every morning we had formation and flag raising.
Did you learn how to do all the foot movements and, turn and hold your chest out with your roll of quarters in your hands at attention?
This is curious. When we first hit the ground, the first time I was there, they dressed us up in uniform, gave us woolly socks and army boots, asked us all to get dressed, and then they gave us basketballs for an asphalt court in the middle of the day in the south of Israel. It was hotter than Hades.
Yeah?
And we're out there shooting basketballs. They wanted us to acclimate, I presume, but it's real nice and slow, bouncing the ball and trying to acclimate.
So we have learned that he went to Israel.
And
during
played
the 80s
basketball.
And played basketball. Oh, my God. Oh, Lord.
That's some artillery you've used.
Oh, wow.
The ball.
What else?
So
What
you
else?
worked
What else?
on tanks.
I worked on tanks the first time I was there. I think it was maybe the second or third time I was there.
Did you work on Jeeps or Land Rovers?
Nope. Should I?
How many Americans were there, do you know, in your capacity?
At any given time, I have no idea.
A lot?
With my group,
More than 5, less than 5?
with my group, probably about 30, and they had several groups at the same time over there, and it just kept. Pardon me, it just kept getting bigger. How big they are now?
Did
I
you
don't
look
know.
like an Israeli while you were there? I mean, did people mistake you for an Israeli?
Well, I've got a Gomer Pyle story.
Oh, no. I don't know if I want to hear this or not.
Gomer Dog Pile.
Oh, no.
How much I looked like an Israeli? There's 2 stories actually. At the time, I sported a rather big handlebar mustache, And
I can see that.
I was dressed in mufti. I was dressed in my civvies, and I was out on a street corner, probably having a smoke.
Civvies, by the way, he called them civvies.
Civvies.
Yep. Go ahead.
We're all wearing our civvies.
He said he was not dressed.
I need a fart filter for that one.
Go ahead. Finish your amazing story.
Some young lady comes up to me and looks at me, and she says, "Do you speak English?" The joke was, yes, I speak English very well. But apparently I looked enough like an Israeli where she wanted some directions, which I probably couldn't give her.
Was she a tourist or a terrorist?
Well, what do they say? First suspect, then a respect.
Who says that?
Israelis.
Okay.
Interesting.
No. Is it?
You say that like it's not.
It isn't. I'm just putting that in there as filler.
Did
so
you
we can
date
get to
any
12.
woman from while you were there?
We're at
No,
50,
I wanted to, but I did not. Neither American nor Israeli.
Did you date a man while you were there?
Are
Two.
you? Are
I
you
murdered
gay?
both of them.
Doc, are you gay?
No.
Don't answer that.
Oh.
right.
My Samoan lawyer didn't cue me in time.
Not in time. What was the other thing?
The other story?
Yes.
We were all invited to a party.
Because if our listeners haven't slit their wrists yet, and they're just sitting there thinking about it, we're going to help them finish.
There isn't anybody sitting in their car, idling in their driveway. hitched to the radio.
They pulled their car into the garage by now, and they've closed the door. You have been. Thank God for that.
We had to mute Doc.
They're sucking on carbon monoxide right now. Okay, go ahead. If you can.
Zyklon B.
All right, go ahead and tell your other fascinating story.
Bring it. You're on. Stop touching the microphone.
Stop doing that.
Can I get a grip from back room to beat the doctor, please?
Get the tire iron.
Oh, he's really loud now. Oh, there we go.
There, I put Doc back on reality.
I'm not touching me. I'm
All
not
right,
touching
your
you.
other fascinating story, please.
You've just burnt 2 minutes on nonsense. Other than our other
This
shows.
whole show is nonsense,
Well, that's
please.
true, that's true.
That's what we do here.
Yeah, but that was extracurricular nonsense.
Please tell me something, Doc, before.
All right. We were invited to a party one evening. All of us volunteers.
Invited to a party.
There was supposed to be great entertainment, some dancers and singers from one of the kibbutzes.
Little girls on a park bench.
What is a kibbutz?
Kibbutz is a collective farm. It's unique to
Israeli hippie plantation.
oranges and such, watermelons.
Totally a hippie plantation.
It's amazing what they can grow with no water in that country.
Okay. Jesus.
There's dirt farmers.
All right. They had that vacuum cleaner in the dirt.
Oh, the Wizard of
The Wizard of was there. Okay, please tell your story.
The wizard.
Oh, God, no.
Mane Padme,
All right, we're going to get into an edit
Please, your
point.
story, plee. Just please.
You've burnt 5 minutes.
If you don't interrupt me, I can tell the story. If you interrupt me, I can't tell the story. Okay, so we were invited to a party, and the entire general staff, not me knowing it ahead of time, the entire general staff of the Israeli Air Force was at this party. Everybody showed up in their civvies. Everybody was in...
Except for you.
Exactly.
Geek.
Was that your story, honestly? That's it?
Yeah. I felt like such a
Carp.
Well, that's fascinating. We learned absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
I
Nothing
mean,
at all.
What would
we
you...
really thought it was more sexy and interesting.
Guns, violence.
Yes.
Covert missions.
Yes, everything you see on TV.
Not putting chrome on tanks.
It was none of that. I'm sorry. That's terrible of me. I apologize.
Did you meet Charlie Wilson?
Jeff, Dr. Jeff. Pleased to meet you. Charlie Wilson, no.
Did you meet Gus Gustavus?
No.
I don't know any names.
Flavius
Flava
Pocatello.
Flav?
Flava Flav, yeah, he met Flava Flav over there.
Well, maybe we should take a break here for a second.
If you want to ask me any more questions, I will
We're
certainly
20
answer
minutes
you.
into the boondoggle.
We're about 10
Doc,
minutes
do you have any
short.
questions for JD Goon since he's been grilling you?
No, not today.
Go ahead,
That's a
fire
different
away.
show.
This is my lawyer. I don't want to anger him.
That's right. That's a different show.
Well, you blew him up when you walked in the door. Holy camole.
And blow me up.
Nah. This guy's cool.
I was actually more
Can't get me
stunned.
going.
Ice Cube.
Can't get me going. I've been accused of everything.
Yeah, me too.
What haven't you been accused of that you want to be accused of?
I don't have any idea.
Think.
Being a sober.
Have you ever been married?
Once, very, very briefly.
Really?
How briefly?
6 months.
Wow. Because she sobered up.
We both sobered up.
How long ago?
And that's actually a good guess. And the fact, we were young, we were stupid, we were intoxicated both with liquor and love.
Lost.
Yeah.
Was
If
this
it
like
were love, you'd still be married.
We thought it was love, right?
Have you checked her out on FB yet?
No.
No, I don't care to.
He doesn't know
That
how
was
to.
a painful period in my life for
She's
a
not
lot
your
of
massage
reasons.
therapist,
Wait,
right?
hold on. How was that painful? No, he just exposed something here. Let's not move past that.
Sure.
How was that painful?
Goon, cross-examine him.
All right.
At the time, it's a very long story, which you wouldn't find interesting.
It's got to be more
More
interesting than that last
Israel
story.
I was a witness in a coroner's inquest in Saginaw, Michigan.
The coroner's inquest.
Yeah,
What is that?
I was jockeying ambulances. I was a paramedic at the time. And
Saginaw, Michigan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did we hitchhike?
What's a coroner's inquest?
Determine cause of death and place blame on
Oh,
somebody.
that kind of coroner.
Yep.
I thought
I'm all right.
I thought you would know what a coroner's inquest is.
They don't call it
Of
that.
all people, what
Go
do they
ahead.
call it?
Were you a son of a Saginaw fisherman?
Okay. So back to the story. Don't over here.
Joke aside.
Yeah. Wah, wah.
Ta-da!
So was this another paramedic?
That died? No, it was.
No, the person you fell in
That
love
you
with.
married. Who is she that you married?
Oh, very good. She was a clerk at the hospital.
Oh, I thought she was like a homeless lady or something.
No, she was the Radar O'Reilly in the emergency room.
Carnival artist. Oh, then it was your massage therapist.
What was?
Your massage therapist was a Radar O'Reilly of the emergency room.
Not that I know of. She was some sort of technician.
She was the.
She was a clerk.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought she was some sort of
Did you guys
emergency
elope?
technician.
You and this woman?
Pretty much.
What do you mean, pretty much?
Yes.
Okay. And what year was this?
Pardon me, 1980, I think. 1979.
Now,
or
what
1980.
happened? Why would you get divorced? Did you get divorced?
Yes.
Why? What happened?
We lived together for maybe 10, 12 weeks. and
In an
went-
apartment?
Yeah, and went our separate ways.
Why?
We recognized our foolishness.
Which was
really?
what?
You both woke up in the morning and went, you know what, Jeff?
What foolishness are you talking about?
We shouldn't have been married. That was the
Why?
foolishness.
Why should you? have
We
been
weren't
married?
in love.
What made? How did you go from?
You couldn't
felt
even
like
do
you were
the
in love-
7-year itch.
What? How did you get from we felt like we were in love to realizing we weren't? I mean, what made you realize you weren't in love?
I can't answer that. I honestly don't know.
Was this amicable?
Oh, yes,
You both agreed.
pretty much.
What do you mean, pretty much?
There wasn't much disagreement.
Okay, so there was some disagreement then. Who was disagreeing? Her?
God, he's great at this.
Yeah.
He is.
That's why he's a defense attorney.
I understand.
Listen, I can't help myself.
No, but he used to be a prosecutor as well.
Well, that was a bazillion years ago. But
What else in the examination?
no, you didn't answer. You didn't answer my last question.
I'm trying. I truly am.
You said it was pretty much.
You want more particulars.
Yes, of course. What do you think I want?
To which point do you want the particulars?
Who was less amicable about dissolving this marriage?
She was.
Why?
Because she continued for a short time to believe she was in love.
You're a ding-dong.
You burned her to the ground.
You're a ding-dong.
You burned her to the ground, didn't you?
You're a ding-dong.
I didn't burn her to the ground.
You should have let
You
that
felt
ride.
like it at the time, didn't you?
I'm sorry?
You felt like you burned her to the ground at the time, didn't you?
At the time I
You
did.
felt like
This
you
was,
felt like
and-
a
and
jerk,
this
didn't
was,
you?
This was part of the painful experience.
Did you feel like a jerk at the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
And
call
that's because
party
she
foul.
was because she was attached.
Yes.
She was more attached than you were.
Yes.
Party foul.
So you got married to her, and then you decided that you didn't love her. That's true, right? That has to be true.
Why couldn't you just let
no,
it
no,
roll
no, no,
for a
stand
minute?
by. That has to be true. Isn't that true?
That is true.
Okay. And so you decided you didn't love her, but she still loved you at that time. Isn't that right?
So she thought.
No, no, no.
Ooh.
That's speculation.
Yeah, you can't tell what she thinks in her
But at the time,
By her verbal behavior.
but at the time, she thought that,
Yes,
right?
indeed.
Maybe she thought you were just being a slouch, and she was being a bit verbal about you being a slouch.
Was she wrecked?
We never, what do you mean wrecked?
Very emotional, very sad.
For a very short period of time.
For very short. So she hooked up with somebody with 3 weeks later?
What's a short period of time?
I don't know. We did not stay in touch.
Short period of time, good 10 years.
Would you hook up with her today?
No, of course not. After you got divorced, did you see her anymore after that?
No.
Was she hot?
Why? Okay, that's a good question.
She was okay.
That's a good question. I know.
She was okay.
She was a young Chicano gal, and she had a beautiful face.
Did you do anything interesting while you guys were together?
Drank
You had consummated marriage every night?
frequently.
See, then what was the point in breaking up? Because you had your eyes on the secretary at the hospital?
I did already answer that, didn't I?
No, you gave us some
How long
conundrum.
after you were divorced did you start dating someone else?
Very long time.
How long?
Still not dating anybody.
How long?
At least 2 years, maybe 3.
Okay. Was that because of this relationship?
I'm running low.
Every relationship I've ever been in, I've tried to learn something from.
Have you ever cheated on a woman?
Never.
Okay.
That's bad voodoo.
That's where I was going, but I figured I'll just ask him.
You might as well hit him with it. We're 26 minutes into the
Instead of
phone.
walking all the way around it, I'll just hit him with it.
This is more interesting than
Have
Israel.
you talked to her since?
Never.
Have you consulted an to find out whether or not you should go back
Forget
to her?
that. Have you been curious about her?
No.
Why? How could you not be? This was a friend of yours that you married.
Why did you marry her?
She wasn't even a friend.
Why did you
Why
marry
do you
her?
not even marry a friend?
What?
I'm telling. The courtship was about 3-4 weeks.
What?
Not
Wait a
even.
minute. Whoa. How old were you?
Well, he would have been plenty old.
Maybe like 70 or
20.
So what in your macaroni salad made you get married?
Well, it was love. It
wasn't love because he didn't stay married.
It was the mustard.
There was no love involved.
It was the mustard.
There was just lust because if you were in love, you would have stuck through it.
Now,
You
wait
would
a
have made
minute.
it work.
Stand by.
I philosophically, I agree with you. I was young and I was foolish. So was
You
she.
haven't. Why wouldn't you even be curious? What is
Pardon
she
me.
doing today, or what she was doing a few years ago? You never even asked yourself that.
I think my mind has probably gone there from time to time.
So you have thought about it.
And my intention, my karmic intention, was to wish her well. That I hope she got along with her life.
So you have thought about her.
You ever
From
rubbed
time
one
to
out
time.
for her?
Now, when I asked that question a few minutes ago,
No.
you said you hadn't thought about her, which means you were either lying then or you're lying now.
If you point that finger at me again, I'm bite it off.
27-20.
All right, well, that's good enough. I guess we learned something today.
We learned that Doc is just about as bad as Major Boondoggle for being
don't-
interviewed.
Don't get married. No, actually, he's opening up. Finally.
Yeah, well.
Finally, we're learning something.
This is 10 deleted episodes later.
We're becoming better and better friends. That's fine. And I would hope you would answer me diligently and honestly as well.
The next episode will be all about J.D. Coon.
Oh, no.
No.
Yo, why not?
No, that's...
Because he has a much
You
more.
aren't even ready for that.
We have 2
aren't
episodes
even
on the
ready
Boondoggle.
then.
We have to guard his public reputation.
You are not even ready for that.
Nobody knows who he
That's
is.
all he is J.D. Goon.
Nobody knows.
Let's
who
do
he is.
some sponsorship.
You're listening to WKUF LP Flint 94.3 FM, brought to you by Sunrise Coast Cigar Lounge, located on Miller Road, and STS E-Waste Recycling, 810-496-3881. If you'd like your e-waste recycled responsibly, STS
Volunteers.
E-Waste Recyclers, 810-496-3881. Goodbye, everybody. I'm Major Boondoggle.
I'm
One
J.D.
of the
Goon.
journeys-
Sorry about the show, and
I think I saw
Dr.
Francis
Jeff is
walking
talking
down
to
the
somebody
Via
off air,
Dolorosa.
so...